In this short video, I will show you how I created this poster. It's a poster for Swerve City by Deftones, well, inspired by it. If you don't know this song, please go listen to it, it's really good. So let's get started right away. First, let's create the background shape. So to do that, you select the ellipse tool and hold this button to draw the shapes. It's fun to experiment with it, so I took my time to try some different shapes and it creates different effects, so this was really fun. Some look a bit messy, but if you have a little bit of structure to it, it's quite nice. Like this one is pretty good. I also tried it with some other shapes, but it didn't look really nice. It looked really messy. So now on to designing the poster. Before I design, I like to think of a direction to go with. So these are some of the things I had in mind for the direction. Since it's inspired by the song Swerve City by Deftones, I wanted to create movement and kind of a swerving car idea. So these were kind of the main focus. Alright, so now let's get started with the design. If you know my work, you probably know that I love grids, so I always start by placing a grid on an A4 artboard. Then I add in the main shape that we just made, and I scaled it a bit so it has more impact. And then to start with a copy, I start with the band name and the font I chose, Pretendar. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's one of my new favorites, and I will use this font for the rest of the poster. I play around a bit with the different fonts and some tracking to see what works well for the contrast. I went with a red and orangey color for the font because it stands off nicely against the white and black. Now, for a music poster, you cannot skip on adding lyrics, so I had to double check quickly for Spotify to see the correct lyrics. For the lyrics, I chose to go with caps lock for it because it contrasts well with the title being lowercase and some of it being light instead of bold, so it's a nice contrast. Now, of course, since this is a poster I designed, I also need to place my logo in there somewhere. As you may know, the album of this song has a Japanese name, so I wanted to add it in. It adds a nice little unique vibe to it, I think. But somehow I'm always struggling with the Japanese keyboard, and I don't know why. And recently I saw some of these sort of rectangular shapes on Japanese designs, and I thought it adds a lot of personality and uniqueness to it. So I tried to recreate one for this poster. I kind of started without a direction, so it's a bit of trial and error here. But in the end, I think I got a nice design. Also later I realized that I wrote the year at the bottom weird, like I have one number too much. I'm sorry, this is my typo, please ignore it. So after adding all of that, I felt that the top part was still a bit empty, so I added a bit more mouse type there, and later on also some smaller elements. As you can see, the typos just keep coming. This is the final result of the poster. But I cannot finish a project without adding a bunch of mockups to go with it, so some mockups incoming. I also quickly wanted to show the elements that make up this poster because it's really quite simple. A poster doesn't have to have so many elements, so many big elements to make it impact. I think there's about like 5 layers to this poster, so it's really quite simple. There's only a few large elements that make up the poster, and then the rest is just mouse type and like smaller elements. But they're more like additions. If you really block out every part of the poster, there's only a few parts, but it's still like showing movement and is engaging and makes an impact. And I think that's what design is all about.